Good morning. Good morning, Jay Marians, and to everyone that is joining us today. Welcome to another episode of JMC EduTrends. My name is Rose Kate Bermejo, and I will be your MC in today's discussion. But before we start, first I want to formally introduce to you the people behind today's discussion. So together with me is Sir Ken Centurias, a technical director. Hello, Sir Ken. Good morning. Okay. And also joining us is Miss Abigail Grace Escobido, our program head in psychology department. Good morning, Ma'am Abby.
Good morning, RK.
Okay. And to our audience who are currently watching live via FB page and on YouTube, a very warm welcome to all of you. All right. So today we will be discussing a very timely and interesting topic, and I know they're all excited to meet our guest speaker. But before that, let me give you some of the reminders in today's webinar. Okay, okay, let's just wait for a moment. Okay, so reminders. If you have any questions, you can participate through the chat function on your toolbar. Next is if you while we're ongoing, keep your audio off during the webinar. And also be mindful of the background noise when the microphone is not muted and avoid activities that could create distraction in the webinar. Okay, that's all. All right, and just a short recap. Last October 23, the College of Psychology has conducted a webinar entitled Roles of Mental Health Professionals During the Pandemic with our guest speaker, Mr. Novi John Palarisan. It was actually a very informative and fun discussion. I personally learned a lot from Sir Novi, lalo na sa mga practical tips that he had shared in protecting our mental health, just like the coping techniques like tapping techniques and establishing routines, like making a to-do list or scheduling your activities for the day. It was really helpful, guys. And these are one of the things we already knew before, pero ngayon lang natin na-discover na really helpful pala in our mental health. And one of the lessons din na tinuro ni Sir is as a psychology student, we have to understand ourselves and know our purpose, why we choose psychology. Okay? So for those who missed last month's webinar, you can watch the replay at JMC EduTrends Facebook page and don't forget to like, follow, and share. Now, to continue the series of webinar in this EduTrends, our discussion today aims to provide adequate knowledge and nourishing wellness for a flourishing new normal. So to start off, we have Miss Abigail Grace B. Escobido, Program Head of Psychology Department, for the opening remarks.
Thank you, RK. Good morning, everyone. Once again, we would like to um, virtually thank you for being with us again for this another webinar in our department. First things first, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate the invite from the EduTrends so that we can have this webinar live via YouTube and Facebook. I would like to also acknowledge my officers for doing a great job for making this webinar possible. And also, in line with continuing the webinars that we plan for this semester, I would also like once again to personally acknowledge and thank our guest speaker for this morning, si Ms. Kat Abaquita, one of my classmates before also in my grad school, who I can personally say na very ano dun, she's one of the most beautiful classmates I have seen before. Siya
Agree ako
talaga
dyan,
yung
ma'am.
Oo, may lineup talaga ng maganda dun sa amin. Siya na talaga yung isa doon. And she's also one of the most intelligent person I really know during my stay in grad school. So I would like to really thank her for actually accepting the invite for this webinar. So I hope everyone will learn a lot from this, will have this as their mantra or can do this as their mantra for the day or for during the days that we are all in our homes practicing the new normal. So once again, everyone, good morning and enjoy this webinar that we have prepared for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Abby, for welcoming everyone and for that inspiring remarks. So, moving along, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today's discussion. Okay, so allow me to read. Miss Kath is a registered guidance counselor and a psychometrician. She finished her degree course in psychology at Holy Cross Davao College and her master's degree in guidance and counseling at San Pedro College. She is also pursuing another master's in psychology at the same institution at the moment. So, apart from being a counselor, she conducts lectures and workshops on a range of topics like mental health, stress management, positive psychology, parenting, team building, and the like. So, please join me in welcoming virtually Miss Kathlynn Keith Abaquita, RPM, MAGC, RGC. And let's give her a virtual applause. Good morning,
Hello,
Ma'am Kath.
everyone. Hello, good morning, Miss RK. Good morning, everyone. Is my audio okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Mom.
Okay.
Okay.
First things first, Ma'am Abby, thank you for that very heartwarming introduction, a bit of introduction. Yes, Ma'am Abby is one of my acquaintance no, sa San Pedro College, one of my brainy friends. Hi, Ma'am Abby. Thank you again for the privilege to be here and be part of this informative discussion this morning. I am personally very happy and honored to be here to discuss a very timely topic. So, to start with, allow me to share my screen. Okay. Mhm. Oops. For a moment. Wait. I cannot see my presentation. So, this is part of the new normal adjustments that I think hindi lang ako ang nakaka-experience, most of us. So, I think it's already visible, right, Miss
Yes.
RK?
Yes,
Miss RK,
Mom.
okay. So again, our learning session for this morning will be about this. We'll talk about wellness and how it is very important in flourishing our new normal. But before anything, I would just like to ask everyone who's here, who's viewing us, how are you feeling this morning? Like waking up and thinking that there would be this kind of webinar and we'll be talking about wellness and how it could help us in the new normal. So, Mom RK, Miss RK, can you help me if there are responses? You can drop your emojis or you can type in your current feeling. As of
All
for
right.
now, for me, I'm very excited and happy. How about you?
I think they're also excited, Mom, to hear some inspiring like tips that we're going to receive from you, just like last webinar.
Mhm. Do we have responses also from our audience there?
We have okay. Have a
Yes,
nice day from Venice Mancada.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
Kat, I think everybody who is already watching in Facebook are also greeting you a good morning.
Mm-hmm. So
So
it
that's
is indeed a good morning, Ma'am Abby and Miss RK, right? Because we have
Yes,
this
Mom.
webinar. Okay.
good
Good to
morning.
hear that we are in the positive mode right now. Okay. Moving forward, our objectives for this learning session is to define stress. Although that I know that you really know what is stress about, so basically, it will just be a refresher for everyone. Then we're also going to identify the types of stress and the responses that we are experiencing because of it. Then later, we're going to have the chance to assess our stress level. And eventually, as we go towards the end, we're going to explore ways to improve wellness and most especially strengthen our mental health for a better life ahead. To start with, let us see what is life during the regular days. Familiar with the pictures? So, we used to hang out with friends, family members, and I don't know if ako lang ba ang nakamiss sa Rojas Night Market. And looking forward, no, during holiday seasons, these are our favorite activities. Going to the beach, hanging out with friends, especially pag mahuma na ang school year, di ba? It's our form of relaxation. We truly go to beaches to unwind and travel. Speaking of travels, ilan ba ang inyong mga canceled trips at growing talaga because of what happened, no? Then this one, given that, yun nga, holiday seasons is fast approaching, I can see pag mag-abot na to sa mga better months, everyone is so busy and excited, going to the mall, looking for sales. Ganyan siya. And this one, we truly miss going to face-to-face interactions in classes, bonding with our friends, seeing our teachers, favorite teachers in class, and syempre going to church as showing our expressions of love and faith. Those are the things that, sorry to say, hindi na natin nagagawa. Because with a snap of a finger, this thing happened. This is the scenario right now. With the rise of the pandemic, ito makikita natin. Hoardings, lockdown, ito ang reality, and syempre isolation. With the isolation that we have, we are stuck in our homes. We had a lot of time reflecting. We have a lot of time going into our course. I don't know kung unsa ang naging result with the isolation with you. There are some who becomes very harsh and crucial with their realizations, with their reflections. Well, there are some, and hopefully most of us, was able to use this time to really reflect and think about what is life ahead of us. And also, additional with the current situation that we are facing, the news just yesterday, the disasters, the tragedy that our country is experiencing, seeing this is really heartbreaking. And these are some of the factors, influences that contributes our stresses. Add on pa with the personal issues and stresses that we have. So what is stress? Because I've been talking about stress, no? Stress can be defined as the degree in which we feel overwhelmed or unable to cope as a result of pressures that are, unmanageable. It is the automatic body's response to pressures from a situation or life event. However, stresses doesn't come as negative lang. There are also positive effects of stress. So this one is called eustress. This is stress response that is appropriate or even beneficial reaction. The resulting feeling of pressure can help us to push through situations such as if my deadline kayo tomorrow, so right now, probably you're into cramming, doing your paperworks, your projects, and stuff. But you will quickly return to your resting state without any negative effects. So basically, yun yung positive stress or the eustress. Yung if you experience a certain level of stress, siguro very minimal lang yung mga physical, behavioral, and psychological responses that you experience. And after that certain period, you go back again to the normal state. However, the negative part of stress, ito yung tinatawag na distress. This can be times when stress becomes excessive. It's too much to deal with. If our stress response is activated repeatedly or it has been persisting, no, the effects can result in the wear and tear on the body. Rather than helping us push through, this pressure can make us feel overwhelmed and unable to cope. Feeling this overwhelming stress for a long period of time is then called chronic or long-term stress. And it has its impact in our physical and especially to our mental health. So this is to give you a summarized picture, eustress and the de-stress. Again, these are the type of stresses that we experience. So si distress ang ating dapat labanan, and these are stresses na hindi na siya nakakayanan ng ating mga coping mechanisms. And here are the responses of stresses. We do have physical responses. So that includes ito. So kindly check, are you experiencing some of this? Meron ba kayong mga headaches, tightening of the stomach? Siguro hindi dyan pa nasali ang mga back pains, mga nararanasan natin. Na kahit anong lagay natin ng mga ointments, essential oils, meron pa tayong mga plasters na nilalagay, hindi pa rin nawawala. Headaches and migraines that even how much medicines we take in, hindi pa rin siya nawawala. It's somehow our body's way of telling us na, hey, can you please pause for a while and take some rest? So it could be the stress response. Then we also have the behavioral responses. So experiencing this one, meron ba kayo? Like irritability, oversensitivity, avoiding people? Are you experiencing this one? Kindly check yourselves. Then the psychological responses. You tend to be absent-minded, you have difficulty in sleeping, or the other way, you overslept. You have poor concentration. Ganyan ba? And if the stress level is not manageable, eto na, mapupunta tayo, there would be possibilities that would experience anxiety and even depression. And that is the very reason why we have this kind of session. For us to be reminded that we have to be preventive rather than curative. Dili ta mo deal with atong depression, atong anxiety. Well, in fact, we can still manage our stress. And that is the very reason as we go through our session this morning, we'll get to know what are the ways in which we can do to really help ourselves and maintain good mental health. So right now, just for self-assessment, please get a piece of paper, scratch of paper, no? Meron kayo dyan. And your pens and ball pens. Can you please identify your stressors as of the moment? And what are its effects to you? And how do you cope with it? Speaking of coping mechanism according to good therapy are the strategies people often use in the face of stress or trauma to help manage painful or difficult emotions. Coping mechanisms can help people adjust to stressful events while helping them maintain their emotional well-being. So sige daw, please try to evaluate yourselves and assess ano ba ang aking mga stressors sa ngayon? How am I affected with this? What is the effects to me? And how do I cope with it? Example of stressors could be online classes. What are its effect to you? It could be you have difficulty sleeping. There are changes in your sleeping patterns. You lose appetite. What are your copings towards it? Your copings can be you watch your favorite K-dramas. Unsa na bang episode ang startup? Ano na bang inana? K-dramas ba? Ka-relate ba mo? Or You binge watch on Netflix po no for the other movies? Or eat? Yung dili lang po stress eating.
Ma'am Kat.
Are there any
Um,
responses, Miss RK?
yes, Ma'am Kat.
May I
Ma'am Kat,
hear
this is
some?
Abby.
Oh, the
Yes, the
stressors. Deadlines.
Donna
Very
have
true. I can also attest to that. Makarelate kayo ko. Thank you, Donna. How about the others? You might like to share? What are your stressors? How about you, RK? What are your stressors?
Right now, ma'am, online class, really.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Sige. Ikaw, Ma'am Abby,
Mm-mm.
meron ka ba ngayon, Ma'am?
word na deadline. Nakaka-trauma. Charot.
Deadline to every one of us, no? How about the effects? What are the effects of stressors to you? Oh, we have Angel. Thank you, Angel. You eat a lot, okay? Ako po, eat a lot po ko. But if that is your effects mo yun, Angel, how about your copings? Eating food ba? Oh, headaches for thank you, Rethel Jean Rose. And watch videos on FB. Okay, that's nice that you have established your copings, no? So in every individual, since we are bound to be unique, we have also different coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms that are effective to me might not be effective to you because coping strategies are or should be tailored, fitted to one's personality. So ina na siya, lahi-lahi. So modules then is a stressor. So just feel free to use our chat sections for your responses, and we are very happy that you are engaging to our webinar this morning. Okay, moving forward. Now it's time to have a standardized way of telling us how much of stress we are consuming right now. The test that I'll be presenting to you is what we call perceived stress scale. It's very accessible. You can have it online. The perceived stress scale is a classic stress assessment instrument. The tool, while originally developed in 1983, remains a popular choice for helping us understand how different situations affect our feelings and our perceived stress. The questions in this scale ask about your feelings and thoughts during the last month. Again, last month for this month. In each case, you will be asked to indicate how often you felt or thought a certain way. Although some of the questions are similar, there are differences between them, and you should treat each one as a separate question. The best approach is to answer fairly quickly. That is, don't try to count up the number of times you felt a particular way. Rather, indicate the alternative that seems like a reasonable estimate. So you will be going to answer 0 for never, 1 for almost never, 2 sometimes, 3 fairly often, and 4 very often on the statements that I'll be presenting. So game na ba kayo? So I'll be answering, game na. Let's proceed. Number 1. In the last month, how often have you been upset because of something that happened unexpectedly? Again, you'll be answering it by 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Second, in the last month, how often have you felt that you were unable to control important things in your life? Third, how often have you felt nervous and stressed? Fourth, in the last month, again guys, please write it down in your piece of paper. You don't need to put your responses in the chat sections right now because later on, we would going to score your answers and it will be followed by the interpretation kung ano yung score, yung total score na makuha niyo. So again, get a piece of paper, sulat niyo siya yung mga responses niyo. Moving forward, we'll go to number 4. In the last month, how often have you felt confident about your ability to handle your personal problems? We have 10 questions, so we're going halfway. In the last month, how often have you felt the things were going your way? Your responses should be again 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Proceed. Number 6. In the last month, how often have you found that you could not cope with all the things that you had to do? Yung very stressed out na gid mo. Hindi mo kabaloon saon paningin yung mga ginahuna-huna or buhatunon. 7. How often have you been able to control irritations in your life? The next, how often have you felt that you were on top of everything, meaning you can control everything that is going around you? Number 9, how often have you been angered because of things that happened that were outside of your control? And lastly, in the last month, how often have you felt difficulties were piling up so high that you could not overcome them? Sige, I guess tapos na. Now, let us figure your PSS score or your perceived stress scale. Are you ready? Oh. As if meron akong madinig na responses. Okay, you're ready. To determine your score, these are the instructions that you have to follow. Take note of this. First, you have to revise your scores for questions number 4, 5, 7, and 8. Again, i-revise nyo or baliktarin nyo yung mga responses nyo. So, if you write there 0, it should be 4. 1, kung 1 ang nasulat nyo as your response, you make it 3, then 2, the same 2. Then, if you answered 3, that would be 1 now, and 4, 0. Sige. Test of your mathematical skills, the addition. After that, sum it up. Then, let us look into your scores. Meron na ba? Miss RK, are you also doing the activity, the test?
Yes, ma'am.
May score ka na ba dyan?
Yung score ko, ma'am, is 5.
5. Sige, how about the others? Meron na ba? I think they have their results already, no? Let's move forward. So this is the interpretation. For those who scored 0 to 13, good for you. You have low stress. For those who scored 14 to 26, okay, try to check what are your stressors because you are now having moderate stress. And for those who scored 27 to 40, high perceived stress, again, can you look back? Ano ba yung mga stresses nyo? Check your coping mechanisms. It might not be that effective and you might like to explore more coping skills. You could also seek out for help. Your teachers, your guidance counselors are there to help you with it. Okay? Moving forward, the perceived stress scale is interesting and important because your perception of what is happening in your life is that essential, important. Consider this idea that two individuals could have the exact same events and experiences in their lives for the past month. Depending on their perception, the total score could put one of those individual in the low stress, and the total score could also put the other person in the high stress category. So let's put it this way. How do you see this picture? Others may see it as half full, but also others, on the other hand, no, see it as half empty. This basically says about how we perceive things, how we perceive stress, how we perceive life events. And this is a reminder for you, psychology students, for those who are practicing in this profession, for everyone who is listening, watching us online, that we have different perception towards a certain thing, towards life. Therefore, we should be compassionate towards the other and understanding, because a problem to you might not be a problem to him. Like his problem might not be a problem to you. So, with that, hopefully, we get to be more empathetic and understanding towards the other. Kasi hindi natin alam kung ano ang klase ng bigat na dala niya. Because we don't have the same copings. We don't have the same resiliency. And when we speak of resiliency, it is a combined factor of different factors also. That includes support system, your views of yourself, and other factors as well. So, yun. Something that we should remind ourselves to be compassionate, to be empathetic, and understanding with the people around us. Moving forward, this shows how much of the stress that we have. Thanks for the stress scale that you just took. You're able to have a grasp of the stress level that you have right now. And looking towards stress, I would like to demonstrate it by this illustration. A kettle, in Bisaya, takuri. Tama ba po? Takuri. The takuri, or the kettle, represents you. The fire outside, kana siya dira, are your stressors. And the water inside you, the kettle, are the stresses. Now guys, what do you think will happen if for a period of time, pabayaan lang nato na siya, inana kapusog ang fire? What will happen to the takuri, to the kettle? So imagine ha, gainit mong tubig. What will happen to the takuri? Sige daw, Miss RK, can we have the responses there? Ano ang mangyayari sa ating takuri, sa ating kettle? For a period of time, we just leave it like that.
Okay, let's look for the responses,
Mm-hmm.
comments. Okay.
How about you, Miss RK? What do you think will happen pag papabayaan na ito na siyang, ano lang, gasiga lang na siya perminti? What will happen to the takuri?
Eto ma'am, we have a response from Miss Juvie Balyesa. Mahubas ma'am. Agree po
Mahubas.
Ana, mahubas.
So, your stresses will consume you,
Mahubas
will
daw.
drain you. Maoga or
Yes.
mahubsan.
You-
Yeah, thank you,
Maoga.
Miss Novi. Yeah.
Exactly.
It could also be that it will explode. Bubuto siya because of the pressure coming from the stressors. So what I'm telling you right now is to imagine yourself being this person, being the kettle or the takuri. That is why I will sum up the stress management or ways into ways you could like relieve or manage your stresses. So sige, para dili mabuto ang takuri, dili siya maughan, what do you think are the ways we should do? Unsaon man nato ang takuri? Unsaon nato ang takuri or ang kettle? What do you think are the things that we should do in this situation para dili siya mubuto, para dili siya maughan? Do we have responses? Miss RK?
Okay, loading pa ate, ma'am.
Sige.
So ako na lang, ma'am. Siguro, ma'am, we need to lessen the
So,
pressure,
meaning pagnayan nimo ang stove.
right? And yes, and also, kagaya nga ng sabi mo kanina, ma'am, know your coping skills. So, para di kita ma-burn out.
Okay? Thank you. Then, meron pa ba tayong responses?
Yes, we have here from Retel G. Rose. I-off ang fire.
Okay. Sige. Thank you. We have
Also
Yeah?
from Miss Juvie Villesa. Yes, ma'am. Yes, hinayan ang kalayo, ma'am. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, tama.
So,
Sige.
tama.
Let us steer our
Okay, we have here.
meron. Sige daw. Let us
Yes,
try
ma'am.
to answer. Ano nato ng takuri? Very cute. Kayo siya.
And we have here from Frau Lane Elamino. Avoid ourselves sa stressors. Yes, tama din na. From Umra Asuncion, turn off the stove.
Oo.
Okay. Off, yes.
Habwaon.
Off daw, ma'am.
Habwaon.
Habwaon. Habwaon.
Oh, Tagalog.
Tagalog na to, ma'am.
Lalong
Tagalog
kayo
siya sa
ng
stove.
Bisaya. Thank you so much for that. I like your responses. Sige,
Yes,
let us have
ma'am.
another responses pa.
From Michelle, i-moderate lang ang iyang siga
Okay.
sa kalayo, ma'am. Moderate lang daw. Okay? From Frolane again, ihawa sa kalayo ang kettle.
Okay.
Ihawa or tanggalon. Okay. From Hannah Kim, turn off the stove. Ha. Okay, from John Carl Espanola,
Okay.
look for ways, ma'am. Okay, from Shigs, parents, dungagan og tubig. Okay, we have another here from Novi. Moderate lang ang fire ug i-manage para dili mahubsan ug dili mubuto. Yes, wow. From Michelle, kung mubukal na palungon ang stove.
Thank you so much for your responses. Ang ganda ng mga responses. So I guess the same thing ang mga responses nila are diba?
Yes, ma'am. Again.
Medyo I would just like to with a new BL. Turn off the stove and tanggalon and cover sa tukiri. Very good. Thank you so much for that also. So I guess the responses pare-pareho na din, no? Yung sabi nyo na tanggalon siya sa kaning fire or pahinayan. Napoy uban na tanggalon ang tabon. Okay? Ibutang sa rep. Ilaway ang takuri. So let's proceed. Thank you so much again for the responses. Very nice. So maayo kayo siya exercise ato ang mga brain cells, no? Nagitik na ba yung mga brain cells? Okay, moving forward, the first R would be release tension. Like, tanggalon ang tabon sa takuri. In what way you could release your tensions? In what way you could release your tensions? Ano kaya ang pwedeng way? If you're stressed, kung na kayo ka, unsa kaya ang ways para ma-release imong tension? Do you have any idea? Meron ba? Do we have responses?
I think they have ideas, ma'am. Okay, let's wait for a second. Ayun. From a new VL, choice 1, turn off the stove. Number 2, pwede i-open ang cover ng kettle. And i-remove ang kettle sa kung asa ang fire. So yun yung
ito, yung release tension. Relax.
Relax.
Okay. Ano pa? What are your ways? Sleep. So, again, release tension meaning ipagawas di mo ang imong stress. You turn up your energies, yung medyo negative energies should be transformed into certain activity. So, releasing tension, example of that, you could do exercise. You're out and work, exercise. Meron ba mga ganyan? You could also do planting, basketball, engaging yourself into sports. Pero sa katuto siya ang normal, not before, pero with the new normal, hindi ko pwede ang basketball. Basketball lang sa cellphone. And you can also play online games. Your way of releasing stress. So, yes, very good. Proline, tama ba or proline? Relax. Seek someone for, hindi ko na nabasa. Nawala kasi siya dito. Basta parang sharing to others, no? Meron din si NU, BL, exercise, share your, hindi ko masyadong makita because I have my screen here. From Rhea, hilak mom. Yeah, it could be also your form of releasing your tensions. Very nice. Sige, just keep your responses coming. Thank you for the active participation. Then the second hour, let's go to the second hour. Yes, ma'am. Abby?
Medyo nawawala ka po.
Medyo okay na po. Ngayon lang, ngayon lang bumalik.
Okay. Nawala ako kanina.
Yes, hello? Ma'am.
So sorry. Again,
okay na po, ma'am.
This is part of the new normal. These are the things that out of our control. And because of this, nasabi na i-insert ko lang din. Ito talaga, lalong-lalo na nung bago pa na nag-online classes, everything is transformed online. Ito talaga ang biggest stressor ko. Dealing with my frustration in terms of connectivity. And then I realized there are really things that we are out of control. Sa untaman na dili man ta mga Liza Soberano na pila ka Mbps. Kidding aside. Okay. Let's move forward. Second, reduce stressors. How could we reduce stressors? So, again, go back to your stresses. Go back to your stressors. First stressor could be your deadlines, your mga nagtapunog na requirements and assignments. Come to think of it, unsa kaya akong way para dili ko mabugatan ani? Try to check your behavior. Okay ba? Simple, mong nabugatan ka, naglisod ko the deadlines, is ginahimo nimo siya pag hapit na gid ang deadline. So, syempre, bugat yung kaayo. Therefore, we have to reduce our stressors. We have to think of managing well our activities, managing our time efficiently. Could be. Okay? So, just keep coming now yung responses. Yeah. And the third R could be remove yourself from the stressors. If deadlines na and all, dili na ka makauna-una, clouded na kayo imong thoughts, you're very overwhelmed, the feeling is racing, your thoughts is racing, you don't know what to do, pause for a while, relax, do the breathing exercise, exercise, you can do the meditation, the tapping techniques, and in some ways, it could help you para mas ma-clear out ang imong thoughts. Then, when you're already refreshed, you're set to start your activity, to start your, your mga gawain. I have read kanina ilaag. Yeah, very true. For me, this is effective for me. Labi na tong sa una no nga pagbugat kaayo, heavy na kaayo, unwind. Di ba, Ma'am Abby? Inanas ito, labi na with our field, it is very important that we really have coping mechanism, especially para mag-unwind. Sulaag.
Yes na.
Oh, yes na yes, kita na. Mangita gid way para makagawa sa kadali sa stressful situation, sa stressful event. Pero di man ta kalaag karon no, so tanaw na lang sa tag YouTube ani. Ana na lang ba tanaw na lang sa atas mga sceneries. That's part of the things that we are our control. Okay? So again,
Netflix and chill.
yeah, very important to remember. Trim down na nako siya into 3 words para easy lang siya. When you're overwhelmed with such stresses in your life, think of these R's. Release, reduce, remove. Again, release, reduce, remove. Very easy to remember. Okay? And kung inana mong pugod na siya, kaya sa ketan, no, it's the same logic with this. Can you see this? Glass, diba? You put water in it. The stresses. Gamay pa lang siya, diba? Kaya lang. Then, additional stress. It's fine. Kaya lang po. Dumagan pa nato siya. Kaya lang ang heaviness. Pero pag dumagan na nato, the tendency there is manobra siya. Mangla pa siya, no? Magawas na ang mga tubig. So, mubuto ta. And, if you try to do this, kaya lang, diba? Gaan lang siya. But if you would hold this for quite more, 1 hour would pass, eventually, kaya ra yun. Pero holding this for 3 more hours, days, weeks, years, it pained so much. Haway na kayo siya. Kapoy kayo siya. And would you like to remain on that same feeling every day of your lives? It's something to wonder. Okay? That is basically the reason why we should take care of ourselves. To have the concept of wellness to us, which is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis. Again, daily basis. To attain better physical and syempre, mental health outcomes. So that instead of just surviving, we go for thriving. Okay? And this is the concept, the conceptual framework that is presented by the Center for Wellness and Health Promotion of Harvard University. So ito daw yung factors to consider. Ito yung wellness indicators natin. Relational, emotional, financial, and all. But to let us be reminded of it every now and then, it has trimmed down to this one. Actually, para dali na to siyang ma-remember, naane siya. What can you see in your hand? Tanawin yung mga kamot, aside sa gwapo mong mga kamot, ugnaw mo yung mga nail polish siguro, sa inyong mga makita sa inyong kamot. Diba you have there 5 fingers? 5 fingers that represents aspects of wellness that we have to look into. And what are those? Let's start with our thumb. The thumb represents our spiritual well-being. Speaking of well-being, it's the state of being happy, comfortable, and happy. That is why we undergo wellness to achieve well-being. So again, from spiritual, we have the point finger. It's for intellectual or mental. We have emotional well-being, represented by middle finger. We have the ring finger, social, interpersonal, relational. And we have the little finger, basically the physical. Again, as you look your fingers, as you look your hand, hopefully you would see it differently right now. That this hand represents the aspect of wellness, the well-being that I am trying to achieve by doing a daily basis of activities that will enhance them, that will nourish them, to give me and maintain good mental health, not just the physical health. So again, spiritual, intellectual, emotional, social, and physical. Easy to remember, right? These are the aspects, again, that we should think through. And with that, I would just like to introduce to you this wellness plan. It was introduced also by Dr. Gina Lamzon. So, kaila kayo mga taga-SPC at inyo ani, Ma'am Abby. So, yan siya. Wellness plan, you might like to consider doing this. So, ganito lang siya. It would help you look into the aspects or the wellness that you are trying to achieve. So first part, my current condition in the physical, emotional, mental, social, and spiritual. The second part would be improvements I like to see in the next 30, 60, or 90 days, or you might like to continue it wholly, Then, the third part would be the area or aspect of the lifestyle or daily routine that I can change to alleviate my current condition. Siyempre, yun. Then what are your specific action? You will not stop by just knowing and acknowledging what is present there. Let's move forward to the actions, no? Specific action practices to be adopted with corresponding timeline, schedule when necessary, and it should be smart. Then, how do you know that you have achieved all of those? So, for example, physical. Ano lang ito, example ha? To lose 5 kilos in 30 days. Kayo ba? And in what way na ninyo siya mahimo? You could trim down your food intake. Food intake, and basically what you're going to do ay, instead daw na 10 cups of rice ang imong makonsume, sabi po no, 10 cups of rice yung makonsume for breakfast and lunch, i-change na nimo siya. Hinahinayan na nimo siya up to the point that you would have to lose your weight. And then the last part would be your remarks. Kung achieve ba ninyo or wala. Kung na-achieve, kung wala, point of evaluation and assessment. What have I done to achieve this? Unsa po kaya ako mahimo para di na siya ma-achieve? Para on the next aspects that you would consider no doing so, na mo'y point of reference. Kay basin, kadalasan manggod pag maghimot pag mga inani, we have a lot of reasons. Like for example, exercising. Ay, di ka ko karon. Ay, ugma na lang. Ay, inya na lang. Hantod sa, maputol na nato siya. Dili lang hard work ang kailangan, ani. It talks much of our commitment also. Commitment to see the result. So, mag-matter din ako din. Moving forward, since we have already known what is stress, unsa ang mahimong effect ani sa atua, and we have looked into wellness, these are other ways also to take care of ourselves, to improve our wellness. First is to eat healthily. Well-nourished bodies are better equipped to handle anything. So in taking care of your mind, especially your mind, you have to take care also of your body. Question is, are you eating healthy foods right now? With this, I am very guilty of it. Labi na tong regular days before. You know naman, no, it's very hard to slow down before. As you can see, very hard to slow down. Everything is fast-paced. Tuwing tigadali, it's very hard to take breakfast. Kung makakaon mag-breakfast, mahimo na siyang lunch. Nang inaanta na idea. And at some point, eating healthy, murag napadapli na siya. But with the pandemic, I'm not that grateful of the pandemic that it had come. But looking to it, the pandemic have given us a lot of chances. And this chance is to slow down, to pause for a while, and do things that we haven't done before, like this one. Making our health a priority. Eating healthy foods. Diba? So, isa na siya. And speaking of eating healthy, i-relate na lang po na ko ni siya. We get to eat together with our families this time also. Get enough sleep. Are you having enough sleep these times? Or wala? Like, is there any changes in your sleeping patterns? Kasi sa akong nabantayan, especially with the start of the pandemic, there are a lot of sleeping patterns, changes to it. Na ako yung mga counselees na mag-chat sila alas 2, alas 3. Ang mga tao halos naging nocturnal. Kaya ang hitabo, have you experienced this? That your sleeping patterns have changed? Kung makatulog ka mo sa unag 11, right now, makatulog ka mo 1, 2. Inana ba? But take note of this, sleep is very important. Sleep is very important. Study shows that sleep deprivation is one of contributory factor why people experience mental health concerns and issues. And we don't like that, diba? So we have to really look into our sleeping patterns. So I would also tell that to myself. Okay. Okay. Let's move forward. Another oops, am I lost? Ano? Ayan, ito pala. Sorry. We engage also to physical activities such as doing exercise. We do yoga, aerobics. So, yan ba? Ginagawa nyo ba yan? Kasi at the start of, yun nga, adjustment with the new normal, nagkahurutay na ang mga skipping ropes, ang mga yoga mats. Are you also part of those people? Dapat may mga inana. And you had made it a habit to put in a schedule na merong exercise time. If that is part of your daily routines, very nice. Meron akong nabasa dito. Ano ito? Caroline? Wala enough sleep, ma'am. Kaya sige, engage na kaayaw sa social media. Yes. That's
Correct with that, mom.
That's basically the reason. Wait lang ha. Am I delayed? Or etong responses ang delayed?
Yung response na post, ma'am. Pero,
Okay.
okay ka naman.
I'm delayed. So, sige lang,
Yes,
later we'll go back to it. Okay. So, sige. Yun.
Okay.
Black. Sana ba tayo? Okay. And ito din, practice relaxation technique, the mindfulness. You had mentioned earlier that the previous speaker have mentioned tapping techniques, the breathing techniques is part of the mindfulness. Very essential yan. There are a lot of videos and YouTube's articles, documentaries that you can look into. It's very easy to follow. So yun, there are sources out there. If you really want to engage to it, it's very nice. So just go to reliable sources. And with the start also of the pandemic, I've also try to really make it a habit to have my time for meditation. Like 15 to 30 minutes of just breathing exercises, engaging with my senses, going into my core. It's a form of reflection and meditation. So I hope with the busy schedules, kay, di ba, abinato na dali lang po ng online classes, but eventually it turns out na lisod po di ay, given also that we're still adjusting to it, so medyo overwhelming kayo ang feeling, but despite that overwhelming feeling, hope you still have time for meditation, engaging into your inner core. Okay, moving forward. With the rise also of the pandemic, ito yung nawala sa atin. We planned our schedules, our life, what is 2020. Atong mga laag, sa atong mga i-achieve, sa atong goal. But mind you guys, life is not canceled. Take note of that. Life is not canceled. Everything is just being paused for a while. Your goals, your activities are just paused for a while. But it doesn't mean that wala na ipadulungan ng kinabuhi. All we have to do is to take on the challenge to create new schedules, make our new routines. Very important. And this pandemic also is trying to teach us about time management. Kasi ang hirap-hirap, the boundaries between being a student, the roles that we have to play, no? Being a student, being a sibling, being a daughter or son to your parents. So, mahirap siya. So, this pandemic, let's take it as something, as a challenge to nurture more, to nourish more our life skill, the time management skills that we have. Okay? And ito, social media consumption. Studies show that people who spend a significant amount of time on social media experience increased, take note, increased anxiety and decreased self-esteem. Watching everybody else's milestones and achievement fly through your feed doesn't make you happy for your pulse. It makes you unhappy about your own seemingly lack of accomplishment. And this is what I always say to people. The more you scroll, the more that you engage to the feeds there, the more that you are into social comparison. And when you try to compare yourself and others, that is where insecurity sprouts. Why? You get to see a lot of things from people. Then mubalik ka sa iyong sarili. Wala lagi ko ana. Example. Hala, si ano, nag-post sa iyang uyab. Ka-happy ba? Kalaki mag-love life. Sana all. Na ay nag-post, gihatagan og gift. Gwapo na bag, bago na phone. Hala, ka-nice ana, oy. iPhone 12, iPhone 13, 14, 15. Grabe. Ako lagi. Nagkipod palagi hangtod karon. Something like that. And the more you compare yourself to others, the more your self-esteem goes down. Nanong sila nay-ani, nanong ako wala. Diba? So, the more na maging harsh ka sa imong self, mag-doubt ka sa imong self. Abi lang ninyo nga, wala lang, scroll lang mo dara, patay-patay lang sa inyong oras. It's not just your time being consumed. It's also your whole being, yourself. Those aspects, those 5 factors that I have mentioned, kana siya ang hinay-hinay nga ginadrag down sa tuka. Where in fact, those aspects should be strengthened. I'm not saying that don't engage in social media. But what I'm trying to say is to manage it. Put it in a manageable level. Kung di na nimo kaya ang imong makita, then so be it. Nagani ko nakita na nag-post na it's just fine to unfriend and unfollow. I'm not going to unfriend, to unfollow someone. And yan din ang ginagawa ko. If I find this person not that beneficial to my mental health, alam nga, everyday ka makita, sige grant, sige lang, yaw-yaw sa iyang kinabuhi and all, even if how hard you try to reach out, to be a friend to her and all, pero padayon ka siya sa inato. Syempre, take note of this, especially this time, we have to protect our mental health at all costs. So, be reminded of that. Okay? Moving forward, ito. You should also find a purpose and balance to everything. It's not always them, it's not always you, but a balance of everything. But keep in mind that you have to make yourself as a priority also, especially your mental health. And ito, positive thinking is very difficult. That is why there is a word there, practice. There is a conscious effort to really live up to it, to have positive mindsetting. And what are those ways that we can engage to positive mindsetting? You can start by doing gratitude activities, by knowing the concept of gratitude. And with that being said, I will have a shameless plugins, no? So I have a YouTube account. You can visit that and might as well look into how is the concept of gratitude important and essential to our mental health. And another episode talks about ways and activities in which you could engage to gratitude activities. So please do this if you can put your mga responses on our chat sections. So despite the pandemic, the disasters that we are experiencing, I am grateful for. What are the things that you are grateful for? So kindly type it down. And when this is all over, let us be all hopeful. What are the things that you are hoping for? So again, the things that you are grateful and the things that you are hopeful. So your responses will be highly appreciated. So just put it in our comment section. Let's move forward. And I just want to remind you of this one. There are really things that within our control, and there are things that are certainly not within our control. And what to do with it? For the things that we cannot control, let it go. The things that we can control, focus on it. Nurture it more. So these are some of it. And syempre, when things are really difficult for you, please, 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 do not hesitate to seek help. Talk to a family member, a trusted friend, or seek professional help. Contact your guidance counselor. They are more than willing to hear you out. And these are also some additional na lang ito. The concept also of spirituality, you can have that in terms of social, emotional, and physical. Some other ways to take care of yourself. Okay? And just a reminder for everyone, we always say that let's end the stigma of mental illness. But we are not that courageous enough to speak about it, to share what we know. So right now, I am challenging everyone to stand up for mental health, especially at this time, that everyone is in dire need of support, in dire need of someone that could listen to them, someone they could talk to, given that their increased rate of mental health issues. So let's try to make a difference. Be that someone who could listen and someone that is willing to be there for the other people also. And basically, that's it. And I would just like to tell you that self-care, engaging to self-care, is the byproduct of our self-love. There would be times that you could only see your flaws, your imperfections, yung hindi ka na kamahal-mahal, yung hindi ka na kapili-pili, or hindi ka na pinili. But when the time comes, please remind yourself that you are loved, that you are valued, that more than everything, you are blessed. And to end this talk that I have right now, I would just like to leave you with this song. And may this song goes throughout your screen and in a way touch you.
Kahit di mo sinasabi, alam ko ang pagpupunwari. Akala masaya, parang may lungkot sa tao. Bigat ng mga katanungan, agad sa'yo umisipan. Di kailangan na ating mag-isa. Di ka sayang, di kailangan maghihintay. Di ka sayang, di kailangan maghihintay.
Take note of this.
Ay mahalaga, kahit paano tigilan. Hanggat
Please say that to yourself. Despite your imperfections, you accept yourself.
tapon na sa kalawakan, ang sabi mong bakit na di matulukan. Di kailangan na ating mag-isa. Di ka sayang,
Remind yourself.
di ka sayang, di kailangan patunayan. Sarili ay mahalaga, kahit paano tigilan. Hanggang kita, kahit kurang ka nila. Hanggang kita, ikaw makakasama. Di ba uli, uli ang mga sugat ang iyong nakaraan. Di kita iiwan.
Say that to yourself.
Di ka sayang, di kailangan hinayang. Di ka kulang, di kailangan patunayan. Wow, sarili ay mahalaga, kahit paano tigilan. Tanggap kita.
So thank you so much everyone for listening, and I hope you have grasped some important insights this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Kat. And thank you for sharing that song. Actually, I like that song. Kagabi ko rin pinapakinggan sa YouTube. Okay. And thank you, ma'am, for that very insightful presentation and very well said talaga. And I strongly believe, ma'am, I strongly agree sa mga sinabi mo, like, we need to manage our stress, especially that we are still adjusting to the new normal. At lalong-lalo na prone tayo ngayon sa burnout, right? Especially sa mga students. Di ba guys, makarelate tayong lahat dyan. Meron pang problema sa wifi, meron pang problema sa bahay. So, laban lang, right? Okay, and
Miss RK, kanina kasi I have asked about the part being grateful and hopeful. Can you just
yes,
read some of those para at least we would also end this being grateful and being hopeful? Just
okay.
some. Pwede. Sige, sige.
Yes, ma'am. Eto may mga post tayo. Okay. Like this one. Myself is my best friend. I love myself. I am loved, valued, worth it, enough, and blessed. Wow. From Miss Novi Constantino.
Very nice.
Meron pa? Marami nag-post kanina.
Mhm.
Okay. Ito, from Jane. I'm reading it right now sa comment. I am
Mhm.
grateful that I'm still breathing and that my family is healthy and safe. I am hoping that I can overcome all the struggles in life and that all is well, right? So,
Very nice.
yan, from Miss Jane. Okay. Meron pa ba tayo? Ito, from, Frau Lane Elamino. I am grateful for my family, healthy life despite of this pandemic. I am grateful for the things that makes me happy. And I'm hoping that this pandemic will end and everything will be back to normal. Okay.
Thank you, thank you. So, can we have just last one? Siguro?
Okay, last one from here. From John Carl Espanola. I am grateful for all of the things I have right now. Well, very positive.
Thank you, thank you. So again, thank you so much. Thank you, Ma'am Abby. Thank you, Miss
Mm.
RK.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. And we still have questions, ma'am. Now let's move on to answering some of the questions of
Sure,
the
sure.
for our participants. Yes.
Ngandam
Um,
ako, pang Miss Universe na.
medyo, ma'am, medyo.
Wala.
Okay.
Simple
So, Ma'am
question.
Abby will, yes, simple questions ng ma'am. And Ma'am Abby will help me with this one. And also Sir Kent. Sir Kent, I think Sir Kent will be posting it on the screen.
Okay. I would really try to answer it.
Okay, let's wait for a while. Okay.
Siguro while waiting, Ma'am Kat, I would really love to agree that yung
Ma'am Abby, sorry, hindi kita masyadong marinig, Ma'am Abby.
sa, can you hear me now? Siguro
Medyo,
while
medyo,
waiting.
ma'am.
Sige. Actually dun sa yung, the audio actually maganda talaga. I just heard it now. Yung
Ah,
Ben
the
and
Ben and Ben?
in
Pero
fairness
fan
maganda.
ata si Ma'am Abby, di ba ma'am? Fan ka ng Ben and Ben?
Minsan, pero yung kanta ni Ben and Ben, ano ko lang narinig.
Yeah,
Pero yung
it's very nice. Ay, nakalimutan ko kanina gani i-mention, ma'am, na yung, di ba, Paubaya by Moira? Moira exit, and then, so parang ganon. Di ba, nauso kasi si Paubaya, Moira, and like, everything is very, like, emotional and all, and it's very timely, Ma'am Abby, na isalubot si Ben and Ben with this kind of feeling ba that, yeah, regardless with anything, yung ganon na mga scenario, do not always forget that yourself, that you are valued, that you are worthy, that you are loved, you're blessed.
oo,
So,
kailangan talaga natin ng mga ano, yung parang our song na
yeah,
makaka-boost sa atin.
yeah. Thank you, Ma'am Abby. It's nice to know that you like it.
Kasi ano eh, lagi akong paubaya. Yung kanta na ever lagi akong paubaya. So, parang lagi nasasaktan yung morning ko.
Yeah, kanang ano magud kay siya, ma'am, kanang paubaya, paubaya. Dili man ka heartbroken, pero mo kag heartbroken.
Bitaw, ma'am.
So, kata lang.
At least it's good to hear that I can listen to another new songs that can actually boost my self-esteem for the day.
Yeah, actually, there are nice songs from Ben and Ben. I usually use also the song Leaves. It's telling us, the Leaves kasi, the song Leaves is telling us that all will be all right in time. So just the leaves in the trees, it wither, no, but eventually there's a season na bloom siya, mabalik siya. Same with us. We might have difficulties right now, but it doesn't mean that it is forever. Walay forever. Sa dingharian sa Ginoo lang ang may forever,
Agree.
di ba? Sa yuta, walay forever. If you are struggling right now, whoever is listening to us, watching to us right now, your brokenness right now will not define who you are, Gyud, and it will not stay dira sa imuha. Eventually, there is a perfect time for you to become whole. Ano lang siya.
Ma'am, I
Ay,
have a question here, pero I think she wanted to maintain it more confidential kaya hindi niya pinost sa hindi niya pinost sa
Ma'am Abby, medyo ang aking pag-receive ng yung audio kay medyo mahina. Sorry. Or akin lang ba, Miss
Or
RK?
medyo mahina po, Ma'am Abby. Okay.
ilalapit ko yung
Lapit
microphone
yung
sa
seat.
Ayan.
Ayan.
Here
Here. Here.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. Ay, wala ko sa mic.
may question dito. What if daw, if yung classmate niya, yung stressor niya?
So, let me answer that, ma'am, no? With that, in terms of the person, the attitude, it's part of the things that we don't have any control. Yeah, di ba? Wala tayong control, Ana. But what we have in control is our perspective towards that person, and that talks about our understanding, di ba, no? With the situation, saan sa'yo nahitabo, kay, and having this kind of session, hopefully you get something, and with the lessons, probably that's an advantage to you. That's a challenge to you to become the bigger person in the picture. So challenge na sa imuha, dear, kung kinsa man ang nangutana, ana. Every one of us is dealing with it. It's normal. Even how good you are, there would be people that would not please you, na maka-irritate sa imo, or unsa pa ba na. But again, it matters on how you perceive things.
Oo. We cannot really please everybody naman talaga.
Yeah. And if magpadala ka na, for example, di na ko bet si Ma'am Abby. Kunya kung dili na magpadayon ko na nga feeling kinsa ang dihado ako. I have been always keeping that feeling. Pero kay Ma'am Abby wala gani siya kabalo nga peace. Kaya ha, di ba? Ina na lang. Just a real talk. Then the question there is, kaganina for example, how long will you hold the water in your hand, the glass of water in your hand?
Yes.
It's up to you. You have always the the decision to make. It's up to you. It's either you just hold it for a while, or ibutang nimo. Kung ibutang na lang siya nimo. Ano marag ana god na yun.
Oo.
Yes.
Tama.
I hope I had answered it.
Oo.
Okay.
Tama naman talaga yun, ma'am. Kasi whether we like it or not, whether how big or small the stressors that we have, if we will not release it, if we will just simply focus on it, time to time, it will be bothersome. Lagi tayong madidistract, lagi tayong maguguluhan in life. So, aside from focusing on one positive activity, we dealt with that. So, mahirap talaga.
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, we have another question here. Okay. Eto, ma'am. What are the warning signs of stress? From Rhea Solomon.
Yun,
Warning signs of stress.
the ones I have mentioned earlier, di ba, we have responses to stress. Di ba, para yung meron siyang i-checklist niyo kung baga,
Yes.
try to look into the physical, behavioral, and the psychological responses that you are feeling. If you are experiencing like 3 or more in that certain area, murag, lahi na yun na siya. And if your daily routine or your daily life is somehow being affected, so syempre, murag ting na siya, what to do now? So, I hope it was answered.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
try
ma'am.
to
Thank you,
look
ma'am.
na lang dun sa responses, ha?
Opo. And another, ma'am. We have a question here. Nagtanong siya, ma'am. Ano daw po yung tips para dili mag-procrastinate?
Ano siya? Procrastination becomes our besties this time, di ba?
Yes.
Personally have experienced that. One factor to consider is the adjustment. We are not really used to the classroom setting na gibutang sa tong balay. Aminin natin o dili, everyone did not expect it to be like this. Ako personally, I thought it would just last for a month.
Yes.
Then instead of months, months! 8 months na ba? 8 months to be exact? Tama ba?
I
8 months?
guess it started on March.
Oh,
Parang
yeah.
18.
Oh, yeah. Parang ganun na siya, di ba? Then, boundaries is very difficult. As I've mentioned kaganina, when you're at home, you're supposed to be the sibling, the daughter, or the son. But right now, there is A plus student. So, saan mo siya ilalagay? With that ganun pa lang siya na scenario, being on the adjustment part, isa na siya sa factor to consider why we are procrastinating. And also, wala mang good na enhance and na nurture sa atua ang time management skills. We have even difficulty scheduling our activities. We do not know how to set our priorities. Kaya di
Yes.
ba, nasanay ta, pag klase ta, di ba, Ma'am Abby as a teacher, you Miss Arky as a student,
Yes,
everyone,
ma'am.
regular days, we go to, umatata, mag-ilis, inana, madto sa school, very routinary, kabalo taon say, per subject, second, kano sa tong vacant, kano sa tong mag-recess, everything is like that. But right now, wala. We lose our schedules. We lose our routine. That is why I have mentioned, di ba, sa one of the self-care tips is to create new schedules and routine
Yes.
para ma-influence ta, ma-motivate ta to do our thing, not to procrastinate. And speaking of procrastination also, let us try to clear our goals. Without
Mm.
clear goals, wala tayong padulngan. It could be our guiding star to whatever our something we want to achieve. Like, for example, para na kay guide or ka mag-procrastinate, you can make use of calendars. Na ba kay, sige, example, na dyan sa matubangan. For example, I have this.
Ayun,
So,
gi-share na talaga ni ma'am yung mga ano niya.
something like that.
Order
And
na ako sa Shopee.
and also you can make use of whiteboards or mga post-its, something like that. And with that also, since na topic man ang procrastination and all food, no, with the goals, again, commitment is very essential. Commitment to the goals.
Yes.
Whatever your goals, may it be very small lang na siya, basta kailangan nyo siya commitment. And you have to set, speaking of goals, dili na siya necessarily ka ng very futuristic ba? Naging pagdako ay,
Realistic ko dapat, ma'am.
yeah, and you can create your daily goals. For example, here, I have here, Wednesday, specific Wednesday. Unsa ko ang plano nga dapat na ko iuon anang Wednesday.
Like to-do list, ma'am, no? Parang to-do
Yeah,
list lang. Everyday to-do list. Yes.
So
And
again,
may
very essential ang commitment. Commitment.
Yes. And
Mm.
may I add as well, Ma'am Kat.
Yes,
Kasi
yes, go.
we are in this time na where some are actually nakikita yun na effective yung gumagawa ng mga things to do, but
Mm.
some actually is not more focused on that. So, kung gusto nilang itry ito, if they
Yeah.
really committed to actually do it, I think it's better to also add in their to-do list, this what we call, ano yung magiging reinforcement mo after.
Yeah.
What will be your reward after you do
Yes.
this, after you finish the task for the day. Like, for example, for me, I try to do my work, uh, for me, like, honestly, ito yung ginagawa ko, like, every day, almost every day. For me to do my task, dapat yung achievement ko is, pag natapos ko to, tsaka ako manonood ng K-drama na pinapanood ko. Tsaka ako tatapusin yung like, per one episode ng K-drama na to, kailangan matapos ko muna yung trabaho. So, I'm trying to make a reward system for me. So, for the students now, kasi, honestly, some of the students I have heard, they're always complaining that there are a lot of activities that's being provided by by the teachers, which is in fact, for me, para kasi task yan eh. Task talaga para maging routine mo. Since we are actually practicing the new normal, magiging normal na lang talaga na ganyan talaga magbigay yung instructor. So, you yourself should actually manage your time wisely. At the same time, you reward yourself for the accomplishment commitment that you have made for that day.
Yeah, very, very essential. Thank you,
Kasi
Ma'am
mahirap,
Abby.
nagiging
Yeah, for
stressor
Yes,
talaga
ma'am.
siya na, nagiging stressor siya na ang daming modules na ganyan, ang daming ganito. Lahat, every day there is always a deadline. We just need
mm-mm.
to, we just need to manage it wisely.
Hmm.
So, yun.
Kaya, yeah, kaya it boils down to the life skill that I've mentioned, which is time management.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And even I can attest to that. Wala man na siya, like, even si Ma'am Abby siguro, it doesn't mean pag sugod sa new normal, kay hawag na mitanan, kanang na-manage siya na. We've been into the struggle and it's been a while. It's a process. Everything is a process. With
Mm-mm.
adjustment, it's a process. It's not a one-time shot na marag, okay, adjust ko, karon dayon. It's not that.
Hindi siya
So,
ganun. Hindi nga kami
yeah.
marunong gumamit ng mga computer, hanggang PowerPoint lang kami.
Yes!
Ngayon,
Yeah, very
kailangan
true.
pag-aralan. Not
Hmm.
the students are not the only ones who are learning for the new system. The teachers as well. So,
Yeah.
kailangan talaga natin mag-adjust. Aside
Mm-mm.
from commitment, siguro yung word na kailangan din meron ang tao is adjustment.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yun. In terms of procrastination, as mentioned ni Ma'am Abby and mentioned ko, so I hope it helped. And with probably difficulties yan with the new normal, you might like again to visit my YouTube account kasi I'll be uploading soon my, may tawag niyan, my work from home online class essentials. So, baka meron kayong makuha doon ng mga interesting things that might help you as well in dealing with the new normal. So, nag-promote
Okay.
yung ko ng siya.
You have YouTube channel, ma'am. May YouTube channel ka rin, ma'am?
Yes, Wonder Cat. Yung ano ko kanina. The
Opo.
Wonder is WANDER, tapos Cat, KATH.
Okay.
You can
So guys,
look
don't forget to subscribe.
well, vlogger ba kami dito? I'm more
Vlogger
kasi
si
on
Ma'am
sharing. I just found it as a platform to share mga certain concepts and ideas. Yun
Which
lang,
is
ma'am.
very helpful po, ma'am. Yes. Okay. So everyone, I think that's our last question. Meron pa po ba, Ma'am Abby?
I think that would be all kasi we also need to, I know maraming concerns yung iba nating, lalo na yung mga students, but they're just
Mm-mm.
really wanted to thank our guest speaker. Kasi
Yes.
lesser na yung lesser na yung question kasi parang mas nadibdib nila yung pag-understand talaga ng mga sinabi ni Ma'am Kat. So, all I can see in the chat box now for the Facebook is always thanking Ma'am Kat. Okay, so thank you daw, Ma'am Kat.
Thank you
so
also.
Okay, thank you so much. So everyone, salamat rin sa sa pag-participate nyo. Naging interactive talaga yung discussion
Yeah.
natin today.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. I had fun actually. Thank you, thank you.
Mm-mm. So, let's move along. Ma'am Kat, once again, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing tips. Lahat, ma'am, ng mga, marami kami natutunan talaga, ma'am, from you today. Yes, and for taking time answering the questions also. Siguro marami din silang ma'am ba? Dagan po sila natun-an bitaw, ma'am. Labaw na kato mga nag-share. Oo. I-share po sila mga questions, right? So now, thank you, Ma'am Kat, for being our speaker today. And I'll be giving a certificate of appreciation. Okay, so a certificate of appreciation is in order. Okay, so we will be posting it here. Let's wait for a while. Okay. Okay, so allow me to read the citations. Jose Maria College, Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway, Sasa, Davao City, College of Arts and Science and Education, Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Kathlynn Keith J. Abaquita, RPM, MAGC, RGC, for sharing her valuable knowledge as the guest speaker in the webinar entitled Nourishing Wellness for a Flourishing New Normal, given this 13th day of November 2020, and signed by Abigail Grace B. Escobido, RPM, MSci, RSci, BSP Program Head, and also signed by Mark S. Alemania, MAED, Case College Dean. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you, Ma'am
you.
Kat.
Thank you.
All right. And of course,
Virtual, ano muna tayo, virtual certificate of
certificate.
appreciation. Virtual show of hands na lang din
Thank you,
tayo.
thank you.
I-email na lang
Thank
namin,
you
ma'am.
so much.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. And of course, the success of this webinar will not happen without the help of our participants who spare their time attending this webinar. So, for all of you who made it this far, thank you so much. And because of that, we will be giving a certificate of participation to all of you. So, first, let me read the citations. Okay. Jose Maria College, Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway, Sasa, Davao City. College of Arts and Science Education, Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Certificate of participation is given to the participants for virtually attending the webinar entitled Nourishing Wellness for Flourishing New Normal, given this 13th day of November 2020. Signed by Ms. Abigail Grace Escobido, RPM, MSci, RSci, BSP Program Head, also signed by Mark S. Alemania, MAED, Case College Dean, and also signed by Kathlynn Keith Abaquita, RPM, MAGC, and RGC, our guest speaker for today. So thank you so much, everyone. Once again, Mom, thank you so much. And reminders for everyone. I'm reminding you that after the closing remarks, the online attendance will be provided by Miss Faith Momo in the chat box. And Miss Faith will also be providing the evaluation link, so don't forget to click and log in because a certificate will be provided for those who will fill up the evaluation form. And we will only be accepting your response until 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Okay? All right. So, before we proceed to our closing remarks, may I request everyone to please turn on your cameras for the photo op. Okay, everyone, kindly turn on your
Since
cameras.
wala naman, so hindi na tayo nagzo-zoom, tayo na lang. Tayo
Ah,
na lang
okay,
yung
ma'am.
picture.
Ay, tama nga pala. Sige po.
Oo.
Okay, so
Sige,
tayo
one,
na
two, three,
lang.
smile na lang tayo. Picture na lang muna tayo from Kat. Alright, sige, I'll be taking the picture. One, two, three, smile. Sige. One, two, isa pa ha.
Isa pa ba?
One,
Okay.
sorry. One, two, three, smile. Alright, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And now,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you, ma'am. To render our closing remarks. Okay, Ma'am Abby, it's your turn. Okay
So
po.
ako na naman, back to me kasi our president has having trouble in her internet connection. But once again, I would like to thank Ma'am Kat for sharing her expertise in this webinar. Very timely and relevant, lalo na for all of our participants. Mapa students, teachers, frontliners, everybody can actually relate for this. Once again, we personally really like to thank you for this. Hope sa susunod ulit, if we will still be conducting some webinars, we can still invite you for
Basta,
as our guest speaker.
basta wala mang kayo tagam.
Wala, basta ikaw, Ma'am Kat. Alright? So,
Sige
again,
po.
also, I would like to also thank for those who stay, okay? For those who actually participated in our webinar. I am really, really grateful for you for actually staying. And at the same time, my officers, again, a job well done from the first webinar to this. Then there are future
Mm.
webinars again. You are really doing good. Once again, thank you for your time for actually doing this. And also, I would like to also thank si Lesser Ken sa kanilang department, kila Ma'am Mirna Ambrosio for this successful, again, once again, successful JMC EduTrends. So, continues talaga to for this semester. Meron at merong mga JMC EduTrends na not only from the psychology department, but as well to the other departments of JMC. So, once again, thank
Yes.
you for this wonderful webinar.
Okay. So thank you so much, Ma'am Abby. Ma'am Kat, thank you once again. And also Sir Kent. Sir Kent, thank you. And to everyone who made it this far, thank you for your participation. And on behalf of the psychology program, I am Rose Kate Bermejo, your MC for today's webinar. And it's my pleasure to host this event. And we hope to see you again next time in our upcoming webinar this December. And before we end, I will leave you with a quote that says, okay, give yourself the same care and attention that you give to others and watch yourself bloom. Okay, so see you next time, everyone, and have a great day.